And even with an IBM 3-year contract, for $1 million a year, whereas they may finance, a great portion of that 2 years ago. Now, maybe and IBM doesn't normally pull contracts, but they do renegotiate contracts though, due to economic times, and so I've been on that end of that fucking stick before, and what do you tell IBM? No, fuck you. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. We're going to court. Well, the first thing that happens, they stop paying. And if it's a big portion of your cash flows, you're fucked. Okay, well, no. And so they got you over a barrel. And normally at IBM's level, depending on what level, they're more professional about it. They don't just stick you up like a Flying Dutchman, put a knife in your ribs. They try to be, nicer about it, But at the end of the day, the result's going to be pretty much the same. The result is, under current economic times, we would normally cancel this contract, Rich, but we like you. So we're going to keep the contract, but only 40% of the contract, or at a different value, or da-da-da-da. Of course, this fucks up your cash flows and everything you got in your company, but you, brave face, you smile, and you figure out how bad this is going to be. And but if you're Tony, you've walked into the meeting with 10 scenarios. If they cut it this, or this, how bad can I take it before I die? Okay? If you're like the guy we're talking about here on his deal, you haven't even looked at that. So you smile and say, oh yeah, okay, well I understand. IBM is in a tough spot now. Of course, he's not saying I'm in a tougher spot, but IBM's in a tough spot, so I can understand why they're really breaking the contract, but they won't say it that way. And this happens all the time. I'm hoping, even though I believe it's going to happen, I'm hoping that the economic ripple effect of energy prices, and just like the one we've discovered, somebody bought assets $115 a barrel. Even a 6th grade math class could figure out that when the asset goes down 2/3, it's going to have effect down the road. And that's what he's struggling with now. And these are great points. He would pay a McKinsey of this world, or a Boston Consulting, or a KPMG Consulting, or whoever, a lot of fucking money to come up with all these scenarios. Okay, and then at the end of the day, and what we're going to, today, later after lunch, we're going to come back with, this is what you should do. Okay, now, not tomorrow or the next month, but now. And not in a 500-page report, white paper, but, in 2-3 paragraphs. And they're all going to be hard. All the choices are going to be hard. None of them are going to be easy. None. And Robert will wordsmith it, nicer than I would. And maybe there's a couple others can wordsmith nicely, but saying fuck you, but in a nice way, As opposed, I'll just say fuck you, strong letter to follow. That's what I used to write back in the day. And I had a couple of people actually produce Rich. You remember, and they have it framed on their wall. This is how Peña used to negotiate. It says, fuck you, strong letter to follow. Now, goddamn, now what kind of mediation is that? But I'd like to say that I was more civil than that, but I wasn't. I'd be disingenuous, I'd be a liar if I said that, because, in those days. But Sally says I say the same thing now, except now it's in big red font. And fuck you, F-U-C-K, and then you instead of the word. Fuck you, strong, and I might not even put in the N or O, strong email to the number 2, follow. And I spell follow F-O-L-O or F-O-L-L-O, misspelled, And as big a font as I can get on one line. So that may be 60 or whatever. So it hasn't changed much. It hasn't changed much. The one thing I don't like is when you use, at least I don't know how to do it, to change the size of the letters when you text something. I'm sure there must be a way. I don't know how to do it though. So okay. Or when you tweet something, you can't make, you can do caps, but that's it. You can't put big, just I want fuck you to be the whole fucking deal. Fuck that 140 characters. Just fuck you. But so there's some limitations I have on.
Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think that Twitter gives a shit. Yeah. Okay, it's we're gonna go to lunch. We're gonna meet back here. If you haven't worked on your, and I'm gonna see you at lunch, right? Eat something. Oh, okay. You don't have to eat. Okay. I like when they're so excited they can't eat or sleep. And then this afternoon we'll come up with our final recommendations. We'll probably get some more emails from the client, the customer, that we have here, and then we'll get ready for this afternoon, and then we will have our graduation. It's black tie tonight. This will be the first graduation, not the first. It's been a long time since we had a graduation without kilts. But since we had a tuxedo, I didn't see any reason to have kilts again, or for the second graduation. And you'll be getting some certificates. So you're my first class of hardcore. And as you saw, not everybody made it. Not everybody made it. Shit happens. It's a fucking jungle out there. What I'd like to have at the graduation oval is a .50 caliber firing bursts over their heads. When I saw him low crawl, it was kind of a half-ass low crawl. Okay, when you guys were asked to cross the floor, remember, and it brought back memories of my military days. But he would have got his ass shot off. Okay, any questions before we break for lunch?
When you speak about focus, you're on many boards and can instantly go into the case, and that's fine for focus, that's enough. But we are working in the deals.
And many times you can't see the forest for the trees.
And so our client here has got the emotional flooding because all the things come in, and he should have an open mind for the new deal because
should, yeah.
Turn it around. And but that's just two, and the one may be too much. And for the others that maybe have not this problem, what are you suggesting how to handle that, or how many things to focus on much?
Well, Clausewitz said it best, focus on the few, not the many. My experience is that you can only focus on two or three things. One only really well, and two or three laterally. There was a management study done at one of the big B schools in the 80s, and they went back historically to the 1800s, and they came up with the reason why the multi-level hierarchy of management, like you get in big corporations, doesn't work effectively. And it's because one guy can really only manage two or three people. And I know but you delude yourselves into believing that when you've got 10 things going on in your business, because it's in one business, that you consider that one focus. But that's not. When you've got 8 or 10 or 15 things across the board, that's 8 or 10 or 15 things across the board, and that's not one focus. One focus is, and that's why I say 95% of your time should be devoted to looking for deals and raising capital. Okay? Actually, looking for deals is one and raising capital is one. Okay? And the other 5% you can be, play CEO, play whatever, The other 5% of the time you can go take your kid to the fucking ballet, But that's 5%. That's 1/20th of the time. You look at your weekly reports. Look at them yourself. I mean, the worst example is the guy I told you he works 24 hours a week, and he spends 22 hours a week exercising. Now, well, for 70, I'm as fit as they come. But I mean, I can't. Even when I was young and I was really super fit, I don't know how you exercise 22 hours a week. I don't, unless you're Phelps and Olympic. I mean, swimming and run. I mean, other than that, I don't know how you do it. But I mean, and just look at the time you waste on a daily basis, and that's why keeping your weekly reports on a daily basis is so much more effective, because Gory will, instead of having to remember what he did last Tuesday, he sees what he did Tuesday because today's now Wednesday, or to do the daily report at the end of the day without even waiting until the next morning. And while you're saying your affirmations, etc., you did this, this, and this. And a few of the guys have, I don't know if they do it on a handheld, but they keep a pad. If it's not a pad on the handheld, they're written down, okay, I've done this for an hour and 5 minutes. Now, I have the luxury that I can stay focused on 4, 5, 6, 7 hours at a clip. Only thing, and I forget to get up and pee, and that's dangerous at 70. Because that's, guys pee in their pants all the time. I don't, but I mean, guys. But I mean, I can stay drilling down for hour after hour after hour after hour. But see, I don't think it's work. See, to me, it's fun. And when I get you closer to that end of the continuum, that it's fun, as Sally would say, what you're doing, I mean, then it becomes all play. It becomes all play, and then and some of you have made big strides in that arena. Some of you have not made such big strides, but you've made some strides. And some of and it's like anything else. You can be a tortoise, a snail. Excuse me, a tortoise is what's a tortoise? Turtle. I'm trying to say turtle. You can be a turtle, or you can be a rabbit. Like I said, Simon came out of the blocks like a fucking bullet. And then, life happened after that and, slowed him down. And we told you about Aria's challenges. And now the young kid hasn't had those challenges. He's going to have some. There's no question in my military civilian mind, he cannot go through a 50-year career, just one success after the next success after I don't give a fuck who it is. But he hasn't had that speed bump yet. He hasn't. Now, we all know 18 is fuck. We got underwear older than 18. There are shoes older than 18. But as far as he's concerned, building that wall of China fucking brick by brick, And even though he's a little skinny kid, I mean, he's putting that fucker brick by brick. He doesn't know he's got, how long is it, 7,000, 8,000 miles long, the wall of China? Something like that. And how many millions or tens or hundreds of millions or billions of fucking bricks? They don't know that, just one step at a time. So, but to stay focused, I mean, you've got to bring your work and your mission down to as few parts as possible. Few parts as possible. That's the key. Few parts as possible, and stay focused on those until they're complete. I mean, Akbar is, he's a smart kid, and but I mean, he's been the last 6 to 8 months, something like that. He's been involved in getting this part of his business set up. Whether he had to spend all that time on it is questionable. My experience in software development and writing programs is that they take too long and they can be done in a lot less time. But that's my experience. So to answer your question, Robert, get it narrowed down to as few moving parts as possible. As few moving parts as possible. And don't deal with people that are distracting. And families are distracting, kids are distracting, and certainly most of the colleagues in this room will be distracting. Okay, YouTube, talk to you later.